Hey, what is going on, guys? GM Galaxy back again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the Chevy SSR. It was an interesting concept that came in the early 1990s that made its way into production and into the model's year from 2003 to 2006, and we're going to go over the entire history, story, and evolution of a model that was obviously canceled but brought a lot of cool innovations and spice to the pickup game and Chevy's overall lineup. So like I said, the Super Sport Roadster is a retro-styled retractable hardtop convertible pickup truck that was manufactured by Chevy, and like I said, that was a mouthful to say, and that's exactly what it looked like. And you can only imagine 25 years ago when this bad boy was being discussed as a concept, how excited not only the people and the fans were, producers as well, and all the team, like we're going to discuss in this video, were pumped about it. It had a little bit of everything. Had a little bit of retro styling from the 50s style trucks, had a little bit of the modernized modified trucks that a lot of people like to do, and it's convertible to top it all off. So again, exciting and cool stuff that was just introduced in 2000, and it was basically on the platform of the Chevy Trailblazer, but featured more retro styling and a steel convertible top, as I mentioned, which was pretty cool. And it was first shown at the 2000 Detroit Auto Show, and like I said, produced for the 2003 model year, and was actually the pace car for the 2003 Indianapolis 500. So pretty cool way to sort of reveal that exciting model. And the 2004 model sold below expectations when it finally stopped under 9,000 sales. Like I said, again, this was a time that was difficult for everybody due to the economic conditions. Who knows, if there was another time it might have done better actually, but again, 42,000 each was the asking price at the time. And again, it was pretty interesting to see that a lot of people were super excited for this at the time. The model years 2003 and 2004 used the 5.3 liter 300 horsepower Vortec 5300 V8, so the same one that's in a lot of the Chevy Silverado pickup trucks. Definitely a capable engine. Performance at the time was 7.5 seconds 0 to 60 and a 15.9% quarter mile time, with a run at about 140 kilometers an hour or 86 miles an hour. And the 2005 SSR actually had 390 horsepower with the LS2 V8, which was actually found in the C6 Corvette, the Trailblazer SS, and the Pontiac GTO. And another cool thing about it, it offered a manual transmission with the 6-speed Tremec for the first time. So again, it was pretty cool to see some of this styling. It's almost as if it's a modified vehicle from your local shop, but the fact that it was a production vehicle made by GM themselves definitely, I think, could have got even more traction and more popularity had the climate been a little bit more active for buyers looking for cars. Think about it, a capable engine such as the Corvette with a manual transmission in a truck. Obviously it's not going to be doing the same tight turns, it's going to be a little bit more bouncy and obviously heavy, but the fact that you have a little truck bed in the back, it's styled like a 1950s advanced design Chevy pickup truck, and it has a convertible for the summer. It's pretty cool stuff for sure. And again, that 0 to 60 came down to about 5 seconds, which at the time is quite impressive for sure. And what also is interesting, like I said, in terms of the design, it was inspired by initially by the late 1940s advanced design trucks, in particular the 1947 to the 1955 trucks. The vehicle rode on a GMT 368 platform, and the version of the period's highly adaptable GMT 360 featured a steel body and a retractable head top designed by Carman and built by ASC. The body of the pickup, namely the front fenders, was made with a deep draw, and that was really interesting as well. Like I said, that front end super retro there, stampings, a former technique that had not been used for a while and required some new relearning for the production team. But again, we saw that the early production SSR was the pace car, like I said, but what was cool about it was obviously its engine as well as its design. I think those are the two main things that really struck out to me. And the year 2000 was an exciting time for Chevy. They released about 12 concepts, all definitely had their unique eye-catching features, but the one that really stood out was the retro hot rod styled Chevy SSR convertible pickup, and this so-called super sport roadster hunched low on aggressive 5-spoke alloys, fat performance tires under widely flared fenders, and that 6-liter high-output Corvette V8 engine. Its sleek, muscular looks promised driving dynamics, and obviously they didn't turn out to be the craziest track car, but that's impossible really. And the fact that the public and the press were hearing such unique things, they definitely liked what they were hearing. It got a great sense of buzz, and they really sensed that a lot of people doubted if they could even get this vehicle done, but given what obviously we're seeing, they did. And what some of the sentiments from people that actually worked at GM, some quotes said, "I'll never forget that day when Wayne came into our war room and talked about doing this type of vehicle. The challenge was to create a vehicle that embodied a modern interpretation of the classic American pickup truck, but to spice it up, they obviously added that V8 engine from the Corvette as well." And again, they had no clay models in the digital studio. They relied on digital math models and sort of things that were ahead of its time to sort of render the vision of this vehicle, because they couldn't obviously make it into clay. And again, it inspired a small dedicated team of designers, sculptors, and engineers and craftsmen to create something tirelessly and passionately into a truly original form that hasn't been seen from Chevy, and mostly probably in the world. So definitely it was a game changer in terms of that. And what was cool about it also that we saw, besides the engines and obviously the performance, was sort of some of the other features that were available in it. In terms of what we saw in the back, you actually could put a little bit of a netting there in the back that could make sort of an extendable bed if you really wanted to use it for something more functional. And many luxury amenities were added to this, so it wasn't really just, obviously it wasn't supposed to be a functional work pickup truck at all, but the fact that it does have a bed, you wanted to give it a little bit of function, but they still tried to make it a little bit more luxurious. Standard equipment on all SSRs for the time included power windows, door locks, keyless entry, luxury leather trimmed bucket seats, front side SRS airbags, AM/FM radio, CD players, carpeted floors, 20-inch rear tires, and 19-inch front, cast aluminum wheels, body colored rear tonneau cover, power tractable hardtop convertible roof, obviously, carpeted flooring for the interior and rear compartment segment, leather wrapped tilt adjustable steering wheel, OnStar telematics from the GM system, teak decking and metal stakes for rear cargo compartments, XM satellite radio, 6-speaker premium audio system. Definitely a lot of stuff there. And again, it was a little bit unstable in terms of its max speed, but the fact that it could get to about 200 miles an hour is absolutely absurd. And that again is pretty cool to me, that they definitely moved through and decided to go through with such a vehicle. Definitely pretty cool. And like I said, it was priced at about $42,000, which is a little expensive obviously looking back for the time, but again, the fact that you got sort of a Corvette powered hot rod styled retro pickup truck is definitely cool. And I've actually seen some discussions of people discussing possibly reviving it, redesigning it a little bit and reviving it into the modern age 2020s. It's almost been a quarter century since we saw this, so I definitely think there's possibilities that they could go with this. You know, they could make an EV version, use some of that crazy torque capability, but again, some of these really interesting looking retro styled pickup trucks that sort of laid the foundation for Chevy, combined with some of their newer, more best-selling products, obviously such as the Corvette and that beautiful engine. This was definitely one of the game changers in my opinion in sort of the innovation space and doing something a little bit different to get the fans and consumers something new.